Hello again, Charlie here. We've got another really unique item here. As you know, we are history rail buffs here, and I put together a little collection here which is you're going to find very interesting. When Amtrak took over the passenger service of America's railroads on May 1st, 1971, it was a transition which was doubtful right up until the very week before it happened. There were lawsuits from various municipalities, dozens of lawsuits around the country that wanted to force a delay or just completely abolish the idea of the railroads giving up their service to a government-operated company. This collection here from just one railroad, the Seaboard Coastline, run by the CSX, is just one example of how this transition took place, and you're going to find this very interesting, what we have to offer. Okay, this is a very unique little collection we have here. This is illustrative of how Amtrak took over the service kind of abruptly, actually. This shows you the year before takeover. April 26, 1970, it was already known that something was going to happen with the nation's passenger trains, that the railroads could no longer carry the deficits. So back when this issue was published, it was already known that the days were numbered for the service on the Seaboard Coastline and all the other railroads. By the time December came along of 1970, it was a foregone conclusion. The bill had already been passed that Amtrak would take over the following year. There were so many lawsuits that were in progress in the weeks before Amtrak finally took over in 1971 that Amtrak really didn't know whether it was going to actually happen until the very week that it happened. So what happened with with most of the issues is Amtrak just pretty much stamped their name on it, like in this one. There's a very rare edition here for May 1st, 1971. As you can see, it's a Seaboard Coastline Railroad timetable. Amtrak just stuck their name in there because they really didn't know whether they're going to be taken over or not. They stuck their name in there. Everything inside is a Seaboard Coastline timetable, right down to the little ad down there. Okay, so but this was an official Amtrak timetable. Finally, in December of that year, 1971, Amtrak put out their own edition. Okay, and it's kind of interesting here because remember that little ad I just showed you in there? Well, they had a little, they finally changed it, as you can see down here. They changed it to the guy sleeping there with the Amtrak logo instead of the Seaboard Coastline. So this is like really kind of cool here. Gives you some idea of, you know, the trials and tribulations of Amtrak's takeover back in 1971. So you get 5 copies of each issue here. Transition from a year before right up until transition time to a few months after when Amtrak finally put one out with their own logo on it. History in the making right before your eyes here. So get those bids in here, folks. This is a very special item here. We're giving you the four individual copies of the transition folders leading up to the final Amtrak takeover. You get 5 copies of each now. Remember that, 5 copies of each particular issue. So you've got plenty for trading or reselling or what have you, or just, you know, extra copies in case one gets damaged. So get those bids in, folks. Okay, we'll be back with more items soon. Thank you.